Hello, Sandman Nation. We just celebrated Memorial Day weekend, and that means the summer has unofficially kicked off. Swimming pools, beach trips, overcooked burgers, and sunscreen galore. Feels like it's going to be another great summer, and we know it's going to be another great episode today. So let's get into it because it is time to enter Sandman Sports. As always, I'm here with the one and only Mr. Packlet. If you missed last week's episode, you missed a gem, which featured Pat's angelic singing voice, bringing us many pop hits throughout the years. You wouldn't think it just by looking at him, but this guy is one seriously talented dude. And last week's app might have been my favorite yet, guys. So Pat, thank you, sir, for bringing it. That was a lot of fun last week. And then there's the legend himself, the Sandman, Mr. Bill Sanders. Bill does not have what we call a great singing voice. In fact, the only pitch he can hit is on a baseball diamond, and that can be even a little iffy at times. But just look at the guy. Take a long, hard look. That is the Sandman, damn it. He doesn't need to be able to sing a lick. The beauty of his voice comes from when he is espousing his sports wisdom across the universe, across this fine land that we call Sandman Nation. And that is all that matters to me. No, he may not be able to do bang covers, but damn it, he gives great golf picks. And that's what we call a shameless plug for Crush and Fade. So check that out too. All right, boys. Let's get into it. Before we do, though, let's tell everyone where our listeners can find us. You can find us everywhere, just like blank stares when any sports fan is asked to name Indy 500 drivers. The poor Indy 500 guys. How sad it is to see this race tumble in the American sports landscape. But you know what isn't tumbling? Sandman Sports. That's right. We are continuing to grow. And things are heating up on our website. So check us out at entersandmansports.com. Visit us daily. We drop new content all the time. Just this week alone, we've added coverage on Major League Baseball, the NFL, where we look and grade the NFC North related to free agency. More divisions coming each week on that. Bierman's Six Packs, Sandman's Golf Crush and Fades, these podcasts. College baseball, yes, one of our new writers just did a great breakdown of the postseason field as the 64-team bracket was revealed on Monday. Our first ever article on soccer, and we introduced our brand new section called The Fringe, which last week looked at the incredible talents of Cordero Patterson. This week looks at a forgotten baseball legend from decades ago who was much, much better than people realize. So continues to be a very cool and interesting section on our site. Be sure to give it a read. And we also introduced our polls section where we will throw a few different polls up there weekly for you to vote on and chime in. And our scoreboard section on the site is awesome. You can stay up to date on all your favorite sports teams and scores. And we have box scores and standings pages. So be sure to bookmark that on your computer or phone, as it really is awesome. And I check it many times per day. Finally, before we get into it, social media, you can find us Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button and follow us. All right, boys. As I mentioned in the opening, we just celebrated Memorial Day. And that always signals the start of summer. So in a minute, I want to hear how your weekends were, any fun plans you might have for the summer, and maybe even a few favorite memories or stories from summers past that you'd like to share. But before we get into that, I want to take a moment to talk about the real meaning of this long weekend and the day we just celebrated. I wrote about this in my most recent six-pack, but I do want to talk just briefly about it here too. Memorial Day was started in this country back in 1868. It's a federal holiday for, quote, mourning the U.S. military personnel who died while serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. These are people who literally gave their lives for this country. And while we all enjoy the day off and the warm weather starting to roll in, I genuinely hope most people at least took a moment on Monday to think about and thank those who died for us and should be remembered on this day. I used to not be very good at this, admittedly, but several years ago I met a woman who told me about her son who sadly died in Afghanistan. And it shook me pretty hard. It really changed the way I think about Memorial Day and how I celebrate it. And while we're taking a moment to recognize what Memorial Day truly stands for, I do want to just mention something that stayed with me for years too. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but a few years back, I visited the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. Have either of you ever been there?
I have not. No.
Dude, guys, if you ever get to DC, make a trip there. It is truly one of the most powerful places I've been to in terms of a tourist and a visitor. It honors not only those who gave their lives in service to this country, but also those who were never identified, those whose names and stories we unfortunately will never know. It is guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year by soldiers from the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Regiment. Rain, snow, blazing heat, does not matter. The guard is always there. Every half hour in the summer, changing the guard takes place, and it's one of the most moving tributes that I've ever witnessed. It's a symbol of sacrifice, of honor, and of just how much has been given by people that we will never meet, but can and should never forget. So before we dive into summer plans and stories, I just wanted to take that extra moment to reflect on what this day really means and to say thank you to all who served, and especially to those who never came home. All right, well, not an easy way to transition from that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bill. But do want to get into it. So I want to ask, guys, how was your Memorial Day weekends? And I want to talk a little bit about any summer plans you have ahead and any past summer stories that would be fun to share here. Because today's opening is all about an ode to summer. So, Pat, why don't you kick us off, buddy? How was your weekend?
It was good. Yeah, we took the family for a one-night visit where my wife and I went to college at La Crosse, Wisconsin, and we did a hike bike combo. So we did about a 2-3 mile hike up in the bluffs, and then went to the Elroy Sparta bike trail, and then we got to finish it off with our dinner at our favorite restaurant, which was a bonus. And got home Monday night, ordered a pizza I've been craving all week long, and it never showed. Have you ever ordered a pizza and it just doesn't show? And then it closed. So we tried calling them, and then the pizza never showed. So we can't.
Wait, you ordered a pizza from a place that was closed?
No, we ordered a pizza. It said it would be there around, this was at like 6:50. It said it would be there around 8:00. 9:00 rolls around. We're like, getting really hungry, starting to get real hungry. And, tried calling them, and they were closed at that point. So we got charged. The money is not in our account, so that they definitely took the money. They just didn't provide the pizza. So that was a first for me. And so
wow.
Yeah, but summer has always been the best season, right? And one of the reasons I like living in Minnesota is the changing season. Skin cancer makes me love summer a little less nowadays, but
yeah.
I always loved summers, especially going to lakes and having bonfires. We used to camp growing up as kids. So we would we'd travel to places like Yellowstone and Glacier National. And we had this awesome yellow station wagon with the wood trim. And then the seat that looks out the back window, they don't make them like that anymore, but the third row is facing the other way, so you can look out the back. And that was the coveted seat that I always wanted on our way out west. So yeah, that's what we did as kids. But I have no big plans this summer. Working a ton. We got a July 4th trip.
Do you guys take do you try to take like a annual trip in the summer or not?
Yeah, we always go somewhere over the 4th. So this year we'll go to Colorado for the 4th of July week.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then hopefully I can convince my family to go to a Rockies game, because I think I've heard like 4 times this week that's an amazing baseball stadium. Have you been there?
I just heard, no, but we were talking to a couple of ours who we're friends with. They're going in July doing a tour. They're going to Cleveland, Detroit, and Toronto because the guy wants to go to all the baseball stadiums, and he hadn't been to those 3 yet. And I asked him some of his favorite, and Colorado was one that he mentioned up there. Pittsburgh, he said, was the best, which I've heard.
I've heard that too. Yeah. Yeah, but summer's good. My wife's a teacher, so she's extra delightful in the summer. Not that she's not delightful during the year, but everybody in the house is happy.
I mean, Minnesota, I would think
you earn it.
Yeah, you've earned the summer.
We have.
It is beautiful out there.
Yeah,
in the summer for sure.
So how about you guys, Bill?
My Memorial Day weekend, guys. Eric, well said. By the way, I know all 3 of us appreciate the armed services, armed forces guys, everybody that fought, sacrificed for the country, lost their lives. I mean, we've all been touched, I think, by people that have either died and played games with us, or we knew. or families that lost loved ones, like the woman you were referencing. So yeah, thanks for your service, and definitely important to remember that this weekend. We celebrated, I suppose, some of those freedoms. We went to a James Taylor show, of all things, on Sunday night at a local winery. Eric, we were actually, when you were visiting out here, we were seconds away from this winery.
Okay.
We
But
were
it
right
wasn't
across
on.
the
Okay.
street. I mean,
Uh,
you guys, it's crazy to me. First of all, it was cool to see a living legend. I'm by no means a James
yeah.
Taylor fan. Like
I'd love to see him. He's got. I mean,
yeah,
that guy's
Got some.
old.
He's got some good
I was gonna
stuff.
say,
How did he
77 years
sound?
old.
Okay.
77 years old. Sounded great. Definitely, Marcy pointed out, even just like, he sounds 77. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
but I mean, so it's not like he's in the recording studio 40 years ago, but he sounded good. I mean, and he's moving around the stage, and the dude is ripped, like his arms and everything. I mean, he's super fit
Wow.
guy. So
Wow.
cool to see him. Really fun to spend time with a bunch of our friends that we haven't seen as much lately, as our kids have all graduated, and spread out, to colleges and everything else. And it was just a really good, fun time. It was one of our good friends, Robin Foreman. Shout out to her. It was her birthday, and so it was just really fun time. So we did that on Sunday night. We had a family fire as well on Saturday night. And Eric, you and I think I've shared this before. Our love of just the campfire.
There's nothing better. Nothing
Man,
better.
it was
We
just
did it
a
twice.
So great.
Yeah.
beautiful night, music playing. Sydney's home, her boyfriend's there with us, who we love, and we're just hanging, and it just can't be beat. So good company, good drinks, good tunes. It was phenomenal. So really enjoyed that. And as far as summer goes for the Sanders, we're pretty mellow this summer. We've got a few things planned, but mostly it's going to be Will soccer stuff, which fortunately we love doing. So got several trips for that. And historically, we've always gone camping on Memorial Day. That was probably our big thing, heading east of the mountains. We didn't do that this year. Mars was busy with open houses, and we had the James Taylor show and some other stuff. But yeah, what a great weekend, and always just great to spend time with family and friends.
Yeah. That's awesome. It sounds
Yeah.
great. And yeah, we had a great weekend as well. We had 2 fire pits. The weather here was beautiful. Not like beautiful enough. It was the first time, I was telling Jamie, first time I can remember that we couldn't go to the pool on Memorial Day. It just wasn't warm enough for the pool. So we didn't get to do that, but it was still nice. A lot of golfers coming by, and it was fun to go outside. Did some yard work. Saw Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning.
Ooh, how was that?
How was it?
Great movie, really good finale to, just a great film series. But guys, the movie was 3 hours long.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Too long is what I heard.
Yeah, it's too long. It's about a half hour too long. They could have easily cut it down. But you know what? It was still very enjoyable. It did tie a lot of things from past films into the finale, which was pretty cool how they did it, and just a good way to enjoy some popcorn while seeing a good old fashioned summer blockbuster. So we enjoyed it. But yeah, it was definitely a little longer than I was expecting. Our summer plans, we always go to the Outer Banks of North Carolina every year with Jamie's family the week after July 4th, and always a lot of fun. I don't love the 11-hour drive, but other than that, we have a great time. We used to have Kings Island season passes, which is an amusement park just probably 15 minutes from where we live. Haven't had those in several years, but our 11-year-old Cooper, his friends and his girlfriend, and they all have passes. They want to go, so we just got him the season pass, and he's gone 2 days in a row, and he's going again tomorrow, he says.
Oh, wow.
So that'll keep him busy and off the computer. So
Is it like a Six Flags, or like what sort of
yes. Yeah,
that
it's
we're
just
talking
like
about?
a
Okay.
Six
Big
Flags.
roller coasters, big rides.
Oh yeah, it's a big amusement park, just like Six Flags.
Cool. Lucky kid.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, as far as Summer's Pass, I'm gonna just rant for a second. I would love your guys' opinion. I think I already know the answer to this because you guys both like to camp. But I love my mom dearly, love my dad, rest in peace. But the one thing they did to me as a kid that I just cannot stand was I had to go to sleepaway camp every freaking summer for like a week, and I hated it every summer. Like I'm not a camper, and I hated these sleepaway camps. You're out in the middle of nowhere. You got these counselors. The food's awful. There's mosquitoes everywhere. You don't know, you might know some kids, but most kids you don't know. It's just I hated it. And I went every freaking summer. So I don't know.
Was
Do you
it
guys do that?
you and all of your siblings, or just
No.
you?
Oh, no. Because I'm younger.
Okay.
I'm much younger. So
Yeah, I
yeah, it
thought
was
you were a
just,
bunch younger.
I think it was literally just a way for my parents to get rid of me for a
That's what
week.
I was gonna say. I mean, I'm sure they loved you to pieces, but
Yeah.
that sounds exactly like a brilliant plan by parents to just have a week with no
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. That's, yeah. So.
Hey, Eric, you're doing this, whether you like it or
Exactly.
not.
And I did not like it ever. And so to the point where we never said, I would not allow us to send our kids to overnight. We sent them to day camp, a ton of day camps to keep them busy and active, but just not the overnight one.
Nice.
Never did that.
I
Never
did.
that.
Mine was
Yeah.
Mine was at a
You're
college.
lucky.
Mine was at a college. It was called Leadership Camp, St. John's Leadership Camp, and we would stay in the dorms, and then we would eat.
Oh, okay.
That's
we would
different.
eat.
See,
We would
that
eat the
would have been
buffet.
okay.
We would eat
Yeah.
the college buffet. It was the greatest, and like just play sports and activities and fish and hike, and it was easy. It wasn't roughing
Dude,
it
Pat's
camp.
parents
Yeah,
loved
That
him.
sounds,
Pat's
yeah,
my
that
parents
sounds
loved
awesome.
me. Yep, it was good. It was a good time. Yeah, my
Okay,
wife,
then I'm sorry.
we grew up, we grew up
Jeez,
camping. We grew up camping. We had like the A-frame pull-out, tow behind camper.
Yeah.
And my wife grew up. They would just go to hotels. So my wife always wants to go stay at she'd prefer stay at a hotel rather than
Yeah. Oh,
rough
God, me
it.
too.
Yeah.
You
So
couldn't pay me and my wife enough to stay in a tent. Seriously.
yeah, that's tough.
The best. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun, guys. Our summers sound pretty exciting. But let's get into this week's show. We will start with Be My Guest. Then it's on to Hot Takes. Then our Stone Cold Locks for this week's Memorial. And finally, we'll wrap up with a fun sports themed top 5. And it's all about greatness, but not that great. So we'll get into that. And of course, we'll have plenty of fun and shenanigans along the way, including Pat will model his polka dot Speedo before his first summer plunge into the pool. So you will not want to miss that. All right, boys. Well, it is time to get into mine and yours favorite guessing game. It is time for Be My Guest. Okay, gents, this is the game where you guys try to guess some sort of sports list and are usually very, very wrong. Today, we're going to go to college football, guys. By the way,
I like.
first kick is only 86 days away. So that's pretty
Wow.
exciting. Yeah, can you believe that? That's awesome.
Are they in Ireland
So
this
I saw
year, or
something-
what are they gonna? Where are they going to have this one?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and that is that's a good point, Pat. It's a little misleading because first kick is probably like 3 games and they all suck that first weekend, but because Labor Day weekend's when it all really starts to heat up. But yeah, there'll be a few games, and I bet Ireland is one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw something the other day that showed the best winning percentage by team, all the teams in the past 4 years, and it was 4 years because 5 years ago was the COVID season, and that was just a weird one. But it wanted to talk about who's been doing well recently. Also, I think 4 years is kind of fitting because that's when the transfer portal and the NIL started to take a little bit larger form. So I think it's a good, interesting time frame to look at. So what I want from you both is to try and name the 10 best winning percentages from the Big Four conferences since the 2021 season began. Okay, so the last full 4 seasons of college football. Okay, and it is Pat's turn to kick us off. By the way, after we do this, we're going to do the 5 worst too, but we'll get to that in a minute. So start with the 10 best. All right, Pat.
Bama.
Bama is number 4. They have gone 45-10 with an 81.8% winning percentage.
Bierman, sorry, but Ohio State.
Number 3, 47-8, 85.5%. They're third.
Give me
Ohio State.
Georgia Bulldogs.
Thank you.
I'll take Georgia.
Number 1.
Number 1.
53-5, guys. They're 53-5 in the last 4 years. I mean, a couple, I think, undefeated seasons thrown in there, at least one, 91.4%. Pretty good.
Oregon.
Nice job.
Your Oregon Ducks, number 5. Oh, you guys are doing good. 45-10, 81.8%. They're tied with Alabama. So I guess they're tied for 4th.
Michigan.
Perfect.
Number 2.
Number
Yeah.
2.
I thought maybe this last year
They
threw
were
'em off a
one
little.
game ahead of Ohio. They're 48-8. Ohio State was 47-8. So this gives 85.7%. So you guys have named the top 5. I do feel like it gets a little tougher now.
Pat, we're good at this.
I think we
Yeah.
got this.
Okay. It starts to get a little harder here, huh? Penn State?
I was going to see you check mine. Did they make it?
Penn State is there. Yeah, they are 8th. 74.6%. 41-14.
Ooh, that was mine. Is Washington on that?
Goodbye.
Washington is not on there. They were 23rd.
Oh.
They are 23rd.
One bad year in there.
35-18, 66%.
Pat, you want me to go or
You go.
right,
I'm
no.
struggling now. This is. Well, actually, no.
Clemson?
I was going to say Clemson. Dang it! Shoot, I just thought of Clemson. I just thought of it as I passed it over to you. Yep, Clemson.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Or excuse me, I said 8th. They're 9th. They're 9th. 40-14. Yeah.
So we're missing what? We're in 6, 7, and 10.
6, 7, and 10.
6,
6,
7.
Oh, Texas. Give me Texas. The Longhorns.
Texas is 13th.
What?
Actually,
Okay.
excuse me.
I thought that was a good guess.
Excuse me. They're 11th. But so it was close. But yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Of the
I thought that was a good
the
guess.
top 4, if we're looking at the top 4 conferences, which
So
we
does
are,
Big
there are a lot.
12? Does Big 12 even have one?
Yeah,
I mean,
Big 12 count.
Are they Big 12? Like everyone's switched now. Who's where?
Actually, there is not one Big 12 team on this
You've got to
list.
be missing
Yeah.
somebody in the SEC, Pat.
Yeah, LSU maybe. Ole Miss.
Oh,
Yeah, Ole Miss. Good
Nice
call.
job.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is
Yeah.
they're 7th. So you're
Okay.
missing 6 and 10. One more SEC team you're missing,
Okay.
which I think this one's a little surprising because
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Nice job.
Yeah.
They're 10th. And then, guys, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked Pat hasn't mentioned this team.
Oh,
The Minnesota
not
Gophers.
Minnesota. No way.
The-
Wisconsin?
What's
no,
Pat's
no,
other
no.
team? His
The
his
Wisconsin.
ancestors are going to be pissed.
Oh, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Finally.
Dang
Notre
it.
Dame.
Oh,
Notre
Sorry.
Dame
Sorry,
is
Grandma.
Number 6.
Sorry, Grandma.
Oh, Pat, you're in trouble. You got to kiss the
So
Morning Star or
those are
something.
Yeah.
the top 10, but I do have to say top 10 of the big 4. But James Madison is number 7. They're number 7.
Okay.
Like the first 6 through Notre Dame, and then James Madison's right before Mississippi. And then this one you guys would never have guessed.
UTSA.
They're technically, oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, the Roadrunners.
UTSA.
The Roadrunners,
Where-
man.
Where'd that come from?
I mean,
The Roadrunners
dude, that
always
was
are out
just
there.
that.
Come on,
Yeah.
guys.
That was good. All right, and then in
Nice
case you're
work.
wondering,
Hey, guys.
so we talked about Washington. Minnesota actually was 39th, so not as bad as I would guess. They're rowing the boat. They're 32-20, 61.5% winning percentage.
Yeah.
All
They
right,
just
we're
can't-
gonna
they
do
just
this
can't win
last
the big
one
ones.
quick. We're gonna just do this rapid fire. If you think you know it, these are the bottom 5 big 4 conference teams. Okay, worst
Big
5 in the last
Northwestern.
4 years. Yes.
Northwestern.
Northwestern, very good. 16-33, 32.7% winning percentage.
I would have said Vandy, but they had a pretty good year last year.
Say
Yeah.
Vandy. Say
Vandy,
Vandy.
yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
Vandy?
Yeah. They really didn't have as good of a year as you think they did last year.
Oh, really?
I
I
think
thought
they were like,
didn't they make a bowl game?
Yeah, they
Oh,
made a bowl game,
okay.
but they were
Okay.
like 7-6 or 6-7. They were bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, give us a conference. Give us a conference.
All right.
Is
So
it Big Ten? And the
so
other
we
ones?
have 2 ACCs and a Big 12.
Is Rice in the Big 12? Aren't they terrible?
They're terrible, but they're not in a big conference.
Yeah, they're like
Us.
American or something. American.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it somebody right down in that neck of the woods though? Tulane? No, they've been all right.
No.
And okay.
I
So
think
I'll
who's
give
in the
you
Big 12?
one is the single worst team is one
Is
of
it?
the
Is it the?
best
I know it's.
academic universities in America, and they're
Go
on
ahead,
your
Pat.
side of they're on your side of the country, Bill. They're in the ACC.
Is it Stanford?
It's Stanford.
Yeah, okay. Because
Stanford has
Cal's been
gone.
okay.
Stanford's gone 12-36, 25%
Wow.
winning percentage the last 4
They've
years.
really fallen off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
since
then this
Andrew
one,
Luck.
this one will shock you both because this team, for being one of the 5 worst, gets more publicity than just about any other college football team. And you're
Okay.
going to understand why when I tell you.
This is
It's
an
because
ACC one?
This is Big 12, and
No,
it's because of their
Big 12.
coach. All the publicity
should know this.
this team has had the last 2 years, and they're still the bottom 5.
Well, Colorado.
Colorado.
Really?
And then the last one, I'm going
That's
to
a
just
good
tell
one.
you.
That's a good one.
Virginia. Virginia was the
Oh,
other
yeah.
one that's bad. So, yeah. And just
fun.
real quick, the bottom 2 of just all conferences that have played all 4 years, because there's a couple that like either dropped out or just came up, but Akron and UMass are the 2 worst
yeah.
of all time.
UMass,
So,
yeah.
the last 4 years. So.
We do that.
All right,
we do
guys.
that fun college one. Eric, I can't remember if you played this last year or so, but we do the college draft pool. And so I always think about which those teams that are left.
Oh, yeah.
UMass,
Yeah.
Akron,
Yeah.
Rice.
It's one of my favorite pools of the year. I love that.
Yeah.
Right
There's
here.
always
That's
the
awesome.
dregs of
I
the
forget
country.
who I did okay this year, but not. I actually
I
think
was
I
terrible.
finished like 4th or something. Like I was close, but
Yeah.
yeah. That was fun. All right. Yeah. Good job, guys. Well, let's get into hot takes then, because it is time for Sandman Sports Hot Takes, brought to you by Mike's Hot Honey. The honey's so hot that Pat is going to let it borrow his Speedo later on. So whether you wear trunks, briefs, board shorts, or a banana hammock, you will love this honey. So go to mikeshothoney.com and order some right now, or go to the honey aisle at your local grocery store and enjoy. All right, Pat, start us off with your hot take, sir.
I put some Mike's Hot Honey on my pizza yesterday. It was solid. It's good.
That hat is so cool too.
I've never worn a flat straight brim. Like I wouldn't know how. I don't think I could pull this off. Like, it's got to have some. It's got to have some curve to it, right? Let's see. Yeah. Hot takes. Look, OKC Thunder defense is stifling. The T-Wolves are struggling to even just control the ball. So many turnovers. OKC is looking good. It's likely over tonight. Once this airs. Let's see. I heard Shohei Ohtani is likely going to start pitching after the All-Star break. So there's good news on that front. Nice. Yep. I'm looking forward to that. I
did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah. There's rumors.
Also
there's rumors.
The majors in home runs.
He did. Yep. And he came out to do like a 20 pitch session, and the whole team went out to watch him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like everyone on the team just dropped what they were doing and went out to watch him pitch 20. I think they said he maxed at like 97 miles per hour, and just a casual pitching session, Other than that, it appears like Edmonton and Florida are on another collision course for the Cup. So that'll be must watch.
Let's go Edmonton. Ever since Bill dropped that nugget of wisdom a few pods ago about no Canadian team has won since '93, that's all I could think about. I'm like, that has to
I'm
change.
rooting for Edmonton.
Yeah, me too. I mean, first of all, Florida shouldn't have a hockey team, let alone
this is true. This is true.
So come on.
Yeah, they're both up 3-1. They're both up 3-1 in their series, so it's looking likely. I golfed the other day with my son, and I couldn't have been paired with 2 more boring dudes. 2 singles. I almost want to be like, every time I call now to golf, be like, yeah, there's 4 of us. And then when we get there, be like, oh, sorry, 2 guys are sick.
Oh,
2 guys couldn't make it. But just one guy spent too much time looking for his golf balls. And the other one was like always 30 yards ahead of us and seemed like he was in a hurry. He wouldn't even putt. Like he wouldn't putt anything within 6-7 feet. He just kind of like, he'd walk up and like tap it. Like, it's good. and which is fine because I mean I wasn't playing him. We weren't playing for money. It was just
Right.
it was just a random
Right.
guy, but still just like, what are you doing here, buddy? Nothing worse than getting paired up with a couple bums.
Avoiding his wife.
Yeah, when will I get paired up with Paulina Gretzky and her friend? You know, just out of random.
Well, maybe request that next time.
Yeah, no, it
Request that
doesn't
we call.
happen. And
Yeah.
so that was
We have
that's
4
terrible.
unless there's 2 hot girls that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're open to kicking 2 buddies out.
Yep. Just let us know. So anyway,
Nice.
that's my hot take for the week.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I played golf as well. Played early. I mean, it's so nice to get out at 6 a.m. and we were done little over 3 hours. Never
Yeah.
waited. Just there were guys in front of us, but we just all motored along. I did not play great. It was my first time playing, I think, since March. So it's been a while, but 41-41. I hit the ball well. I had a 4-putt, you guys. 4-putt. I couldn't tell you the last time I 4-putted, legit 4-putted a green. The pin is way in the back. It took me 3 putts to get the ball to the hole. I was so scared of this downhill second half section. Anyway, 4 putts. I just had to bring that up because that was just atrocious.
Yeah.
There's nothing
pretty
worse
rough.
than a guy who goes 41-41 and complains about it. Like
No,
I would call my
wasn't
parents.
complaining.
I would
wasn't
call my
complaining.
parents and be like, "Mom, Dad, guess what?" And they wouldn't care, but it
I'm
would
just saying. No, I wasn't complaining. I didn't want it to come off that way.
Bill,
I felt
take
like
your
I hit the ball
82,
really well for
take
not
your
playing.
82 and shove it.
This
Yeah.
golf course is so easy too, you guys. So I mean, there's no trouble really on it. It's 82. I can shoot 72 there. So it's a little anyway. I'm not trying to be one of those guys, Pat. I'm really not. I brought it up more self-deprecating to be like, I shot 82, hit the ball great. I actually had a 4-putt. I mean, I could have shot, in the mid 70s. Anyway, my hot takes. Ben Griffin wins the Charles Schwab. My comment's not so much about Ben. Happy for him, first ever solo win. He won with Andrew Novak at the Zurich Partners event earlier this year. It seems like a likable young kid, super smart, like entrepreneur, like big time into investing, and a bunch of other things. And then, you know what? He just happens to be one of the top 25 golfers on the planet. It's just kind of crazy. But I had to ask you guys, I don't know if you can picture Ben Griffin, but he wears aviators on the course. And it just throws me for a loop every time I see the guy. I can't take him seriously with those sunglasses on.
Yeah. He looks like
so you're with me on this? I was just like,
if we went to high school,
I think it was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love aviators. I love aviator sunglasses, so I think it's cool.
Yeah. Oh, no, nothing wrong with them. It's just like on the golf course, it's just weird to me. I don't know. It doesn't look like he should be really good at golf.
No, they're not. I mean, it is weird to wear aviators on a golf course. I agree.
Yeah, it's so weird. Anyway, good for him. Kudos to him. The kid's really starting to play consistent good golf. It's fun to see some of these youngsters. Yeah.
Did you watch? I did watch the last 2 holes of the tournament. Did you see that kid Schmid drain? Like it looks like he's comfortably going to win. He's ahead by 2 strokes.
Yeah.
Schmid's off the green and he jars that chip and he's thinking he's got a 3-footer. He's got a 3-footer and he's thinking, I got 2 or 3 putts here to win the whole thing.
Yeah. Totally. That was going to be my last comment. Is it's so hard to win a golf tournament on the PGA Tour. I mean, Ben Griffin started eagle birdie too, if you guys saw the beginning of the round, and then he proceeded to not birdie a single hole the rest of the round and just cling to his life at the end when Matty Schmid hit that shot. I mean, unbelievable. Anyway, very cool to see him win, and kudos to him. I'm super excited about the Memorial this week. Should be a lot of fun. Pat mentioned Minnesota. You guys know how I feel about Oklahoma City, and now every game I'm sweating harder than I've sweated in an NBA game, and I don't even know how long. So I hope the Timberwolves can somehow miraculously come back. Doesn't look like they're going to, but maybe it's up to the Pacers. All of Seattle's hopes and dreams.
That does remind me. I did want to give some love to Halliburton. Did you see his?
He's so good.
He had quite the stat line the other day, and no turnovers. And this is
I know.
from watching the Timberwolves who turned the ball over like 20 times. This kid has 0 turnovers. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's got to take against OKC, because they are some strong defenders. Those guys are really good at
They
D.
are.
So
Yeah. And SGA just continues to impress me for Oklahoma City. I mean, the Clippers traded that guy, you guys. I mean, it's like they didn't even think he was going to be that great. And now he's MVP. The guy
MVP.
I
literally
think
cannot be stopped.
It's crazy.
He part of it
It's
is
so fun to
he's
watch.
very he looks so casual out there. He almost reminds me of like
Yeah,
Roger
He
Federer.
does.
When Federer used to play tennis, like it didn't even look like he's trying, but then he hits that extra gear. But I think it's just his upper body's so calm, kind of like Federer was. Like they're very smooth. His transitions are just so smooth.
He's
There's
not
not a
like
lot
a
of
freak
wasted
athlete.
movement. Yeah.
He's not super big. He can't jump through the roof. I mean, the guy just how many times does he go into Rudy Gobert, who's one of the best shot blockers in the NBA, and then right into his chest, Gobert goes back and he just lays it in like nothing is. And the guy gets open for his shot better than maybe anybody in the NBA. It's just, he's been so impressive to me. So I hate everything about Oklahoma City, but that kid is really fun to watch. Bierman, how about you, bud?
Yeah. So for somebody who I would say I was average or above average in most sports I played growing up. Baseball was the exception. I was awful at baseball, so I've never really liked baseball like I do the other sports. I'll go to Reds games and certainly follow them. So for a guy who does not like baseball as much as other sports, there's something about college baseball that I absolutely love. Like I don't know if it's because it's uh during it, the playoffs are starting now and the World Series is around a time where there's not much else going on in the world of sports in the summer. Or I've been to the College World Series twice, which is just great. If you've never been to
Never
Omaha,
been.
seriously, put it on your sports bucket list. It's just awesome. And one of our new writers, Jack Morris, yes, his name is actually Jack Morris, no relation as far as I know. He just wrote a great piece on the 64 teams in the bracket here, and laid out kind of the different conferences. The SEC is just incredible.
Stacked.
Again, every year they're stacked. Vandy's the number 1 seed, Texas number 2. My Miami Redhawks right here, they made the tournament.
Nice.
So that's exciting, although they go down to Knoxville and play Tennessee, the number 1 seed there. We've got not my, but UC Bearcats. So another local team. They're also there. They're the 3rd seed. So they're in the same bracket as Miami down there. My Xavier Musketeers got hosed. They were on the bubble. Should have probably made it. Had a good season, but didn't make it. But I'm just really looking forward to watching college baseball games over the next few weeks. The super regionals are cool. I like the format. I like how they do it, and should be exciting. So if you've never really invested any time in super regionals, turn it on. Games start, I think, this Friday. They're going to be on ESPN Plus and ESPNU and all that, and turn it on, and definitely check out Omaha when it gets there. Real quick, and one more on college baseball. This just blew my mind. I'm going to NAIA. How often do we talk about NAIA college baseball? Probably never.
Once,
probably
twice a week.
Again. But this is pretty amazing, guys. I came across this. LSU Shreveport. They're in the NAIA bracket, okay? Definitely favored to win it. All great, interesting, whatever. Here's what makes it interesting. They have played 56 games this season. They are 56-0.
Oh, wow.
They have not lost. Do you know how hard that is in baseball?
So why
not lose?
Put them in the big show
game?
then. Send them to Omaha.
Yeah. So I am I am following them. Like, I really want to see.
That's amazing.
There's no way there's ever been a baseball team at any level go, an entire season undefeated. So I think that would be pretty cool to maybe little league teams have done that, but certainly not at the college level. So that's kind of cool. So LSU Shreveport, NAIA. Hope you guys do it. That'll be cool. All right, last thing. I want to go to the NBA. I also gave some love to the Pacers in my recent 6-pack. Wanted to build a little bit on that. I really was rooting for the Knicks when the season or when the series started, but the Pacers, they're fun, they're feisty, they're fearless, and I don't think they're going to get past the Thunder because the Thunder are just so good. But Indiana's been one of the better stories of this season and this postseason. But I don't want to focus on their players today. I actually want to give some love to their coach, guys. Rick Carlisle is their coach.
Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's in the second stint with the team. He's been here in this go around since 2021. He just reached the top 10 in all-time NBA playoff coaching wins. That with 81. Think about that for a second. Only 9 coaches in NBA history have more playoff wins than this guy. I mean, that's pretty impressive. He's done it with multiple teams, multiple eras. He's been a coach for decades, multiple types of rosters. He won a title with Dirk in Dallas back in 2011. He's now reached back-to-back conference finals with the Pacers team that was in total rebuild mode just 2 years ago. He's one of only 14 people in league history to win a title as both a player and a coach. So I just, wanted to give him some love. He may not be the flashiest coach in the league, but he is well respected. He's a battle tested guy. I don't think the Pacers are going to win it this year, but I do think Carlisle has proven he can take a talented, unproven team and turn them into something dangerous. So, and if they do somehow pull off the upset, I think he goes down as one of the better coaches of the modern NBA era. So. All right, well, it is now time to get into our Stone Cold Locks segment. This week's brings the memorial at Jack's house, not far from where I am right now, just 90 miles north on I-71 up in Dublin, Ohio. Great tournament, been there many times. Looks like another great field. Before we get into that, though, let's see how the three of us did last week. Well, the bad news for Bill is that he got no points last week. But the good news for Bill is that both Pat and I did, which means Bill is back
Scotty
in last
Scheffler is
place
available.
and can now pick Scotty.
You guys should see my
if he
notes.
wants. So Pat hit on 2 of his 3 picks with Bobby Mack and Rio Hisasana, something like that. They both finished top 10, so impressive work there,
Nice
buddy.
work.
And I hit big time with my Ben Griffin pick, won the whole darn thing. So I'll take 3 points for that. And so the current standings are I've got 14, Pat has 13, Bill has 11. Everyone's still very much in it. Just a quick reminder for our listeners, pick 3 players total. 2 can be any players we want, but the third has to be a dark horse with plus 10,000 odds or worse. Okay, Pat, who you got?
All right. Let's start with Tommy Fleetwood at 28-1. Now, I know that I said a few weeks ago at the one at Harbortown that this is the last chance for Tommy. I'm never going to pick him again.
You can't quit him. You can't
But
quit him.
I don't know. I got a good feeling. He's 28-1. He's accurate. He does well in strokes gained approach to green, which will be important
Didn't
here.
he do okay though? Didn't he do
He did
okay?
okay. And he's done okay
He just
since.
missed.
He's done okay since. So I feel like he's doing okay.
Yeah.
He's trending in the right direction. So I'm going to give him one more crack at this. And this is the final for Tommy Fleetwood for me. My second one is Patrick Cantlay. He's won here before. So let's go horse for the course with Pat Cantlay. And this is also Patrick Cantlay's last chance for me. So Fleetwood and Cantlay, this is it. You don't do anything here.
All right.
I will never bet on you guys again. And then finally, give me Matty Schmidt, kid who was in the mix last week. He's my long shot. It's plus 17,000. He battled Ben Griffin last week to the wire, and I'm playing the hot hand. So those are going to be my 3. Cantlay and Fleetwood are on notice. This is their last chance. Ever.
All right.
Yep.
We'll believe it for 2 weeks until you
I
pick him
literally
at
might
the US Open
put
or
money on
something.
one of those 2 now because I really think one of those 2 is going to win it.
I mean,
just for Pat.
I mean, just look at my
like
look at my recent picks. You know, I mean, I go with the hot hand. Rio Hisatsune would have got you money last week.
I know.
Mhm.
Hisatsune top 10. That had
Again,
to be really
I gotta start betting on my own picks. That's the same thing with football.
Just like football.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude.
Well, that's
believe
what.
in
Yeah.
yourself.
So Mike Pasta, longtime CMA Nation member, joined the pod a while ago. He sent us text, me and Bill, over the weekend. Say it was a screenshot of him betting on Griffin to win. So
Oh, nice.
good
Nice.
job, Mike. Yeah.
I know. Bierman, did you put any money down legally in the old state of Ohio on Ben Griffin?
No. I
What was Griffin's odds to win?
Oh, it was here. I'll tell you what he won.
He had a big win. I want to say it was $50 to win 13.25 or something like that.
It was 60 to 1.
Yeah, 60.
60 to 1. He bet $20, he won 1,020.
Ah, nice.
Or no, sorry, 50 to 1. 50 to 1. Sorry, I couldn't read. Yeah,
still
50 to 1.
beers are on Paston.
Yeah,
next time.
Paston.
Yeah.
I knew my picks were terrible. I never can remember, 10 minutes after we record this thing, who you guys pick. So I just knew. So in my notes, I put Scheffler. That's all I put for my first pick.
Nice.
You got to do it, right? I mean, you're in last place.
You have
feels
to.
like, rules allow. So love the no hat Pat pick as well, Pat. I like Cantlay this week, but I'm actually going to go with another guy for my second pick, and that is Corey Connors. He's plus 2,800. He's just been lurking around that top 10. I mean, the guy hasn't won a golf tournament, but he just always seems to be there. So hopefully he can stay hot. Love his game. If the putter is remotely good, he could be right there in the mix. Corey Connors was my second pick, and my long shot is I'm going with Lucas Glover. I saw him on ESPN Bet at plus 12,500. And I think usually the winner at Memorial, it's like a guy that's got a true like tee to green game. So Lucas hits fairways. He's a decent iron.
Very
player.
underrated. Very underrated, I think.
Yeah, he's very underrated. And if that putter, that long putter, cheating putter can get putts somewhere near the hole this week, I think he could find himself in the top 10 as well. My last fact, this is not one of my picks before I kick it to Bierman, but did you guys know that Tommy Fleetwood is married to a woman that's 20 years older than him?
Wow.
I like him even more now. All right, Tommy, you're back in the mix. I'll never doubt you again.
Unheard of for a
Good for you,
professional
Tommy.
athlete, right?
Yeah.
That's unheard. I heard that this last week, and I was like, no way.
Tommy gets it.
Insane.
Tommy gets it.
He's
a smart man.
Age is just a number, Bill.
Good for him. He loves his
myself.
wife. I love it. Anyway, Bierman, how about you? What you got?
Yeah, so before we get started, I also want to point something out that's kind of strange, I think. Not about Tommy Fleetwood, but about the Memorial, specifically last year's Memorial. So as I was researching, I looked back at last year's results and something popped out at me. So there were 52 players who made the cut last year. Of those, only 6 shot below par on Sunday. So that means I don't remember either the weather was really bad or they just made the course very, very tough on Sunday. But either way, I just thought that was really interesting. I mean,
did 7 under win,
who won, I think it was 8 under, I think. But Scheffler won, and he was 2 over on the final day.
Yeah.
So
I love golf like this.
Yeah. No, I do too. Too. So, all right, I'm going with Xander. Here is probably not the most rational pick, as he's only had one top 10 finish all season, although that was at the Masters where he finished 8th. Last year he finished 8th. Here, he's definitely struggled this year. He's battled injuries early on, but he's only played 8 tournaments. The guy won 2 majors last year. He's made 64 consecutive cuts, and I'm just feeling a big breakout turning by him this week. So we're going with Xander. For my second, I'm going with the guy who I can safely say I've never picked and probably will never pick again, but he just kind of jumped out at me. I'm going with Denny McCarthy at plus 4,500, plus 650, and plus 300. He's 3rd in consecutive cuts made with 17 in a row, which I never would have guessed. He made the cut here last year. He did have a rough Sunday, so he only finished 39th. But guys, he is one of the premier putters on the PGA Tour. He struggled a little bit. Like his stats have taken a little step back this year, but he is a really good putter. And I have a sneaky suspicion that could make a big difference for him this week. So I like him to give a top 10 performance. So we're going to take Denny and book that. And then for my dark horse, I mean, I'll just say yuck. Looking at the dark horse selections, there were not really any good ones. But I'm going to go with a guy who I've had my eye on before. I probably picked him in this. I'm going to go with Sam Stevens, plus 10,000, plus 1,400, plus 550. His stats have not been great this year, so I don't have much sure there, but he does have a second place finish and a third place finish. He's only missed 3 cuts all year, so what the hell? We'll go with Sammy.
I like your picks. I
Yeah.
like that you did kind of like a top, a middle, and a long shot. And the other thing I thought I heard today, which I think is great, is they're not doing at the FedEx Cup. They're not doing the staggered start where the leader starts at -10. I like that. I don't. I never liked that format. It's just too much of an advantage. But I feel like the Xander pick is a good one. I feel like this is where he's, it's the middle of the season. I think he'll start to get hot here. He's gonna start breaking out.
I love Xander pick.
Yeah, so you just made me think of something, Pat, that's been on my mind for a while. And, we have 2 guys now who write an article for our new section called The Fringe, which is just about different, we call it the B-side of sports, different kinds of stories, forgotten sports stars, just interesting stories that you might not know of in the sports world. I asked them to consider it. It's more of a research piece than it is kind of an interesting side story piece, but this has been on my mind for a while. Would love your guys' thoughts on it real quick. Do you think it matters if we went back and looked statistically, the Thursday and Friday, so just the first 2 days, because those are the only 2 days that the tee times are preset, right? After that, it's based on how you do
order of finish. Yeah.
Do you think it matters? Do you think there's a correlation statistically at the guys who start early on Thursday and go later on Friday? Because typically if you start in the morning on a Thursday, then you start afternoon Friday, versus start afternoon on Thursday and then morning on Friday. Do you think there's any correlation to people making the cut based on that?
Thought about that. I was thinking about this the other day. I think you get
I have no idea. I want to know.
You get a little bit of okay, so here's my thoughts on this. You get a little bit more rest, right? You're not finishing late, starting early. So you get that.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing is, okay, you've played the course one day, so you kind of got a feel for playing the course one day. Then Friday afternoon, you're not teeing off till Friday afternoon. You can sit and watch the telecast and see, you'll see, all right, on hole 13, you'll hear the commentator say, oh, everyone's missed this putt short all day long. Or, guys are missing this on the low side all day long. And you're starting to get a little bit of intel. You're starting to feel a little bit of how things are going, how the weather's factoring into it, stuff like that. I feel like you can prepare a little bit better for Friday afternoon when it really matters, when you got to make it.
Because if you were given the choice, wouldn't you pick early Thursday, late Friday?
Yes.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that.
I think so.
I don't know.
That'd be fascinating.
I'm hoping these guys or maybe one of our other writers will do that. I think it's an interesting piece. I doubt anyone's ever written about that or researched that. So, all right, well, we'll find out. All right, guys. Well, let's now get into our top 5, which I think is going to be another fun one. A couple months ago, we looked at the best sports teams in history to not win a championship that season. Well, today we're going to put a slightly different angle on that. And instead of teams, we're going to rank the best or our favorite players to never win a championship. There are many, unfortunately, great players who never got to hoist the championship trophy of their respective sports. So we're going to talk about that. Just one guy we did remove. There were probably a couple we could have removed, but one guy we did remove is Dan Marino, just because we felt he was pretty obvious. All of us, I think, would have had him on our list. So we took him out of consideration. But everyone else is fair game, can be any sport, any time period, team or individual. So, Pat, what do you got? Number 5 and number 4.
All right, number 5. It was Memorial Day weekend that we just had, which reminds me, I did want to say rest in peace, Pat Tillman, probably one of the greatest stories ever. He should have a made for TV movie or made for movie. He needs a movie made about him. But so my first one is Ted Williams, also, missed a couple seasons of baseball, being in World War II. His only chance came in 1946 when he was hitting the elbow before the series started and ended up batting like 200. And they lost in that series to St. Louis Cardinals in 7. He was too busy out saving the world legend. Only guy to hit 400. What do you say about Ted Williams?
Just incredible.
No, the guy's
just incredible. Yeah.
And then my number 4, I went with, I figured I could do this because Eric does this all the time. LaDainian Tomlinson and Phillip Rivers. A little 2-pack. I figure I put them together.
Nothing wrong with that.
But
hey,
I loved
Yeah.
those guys. I loved watching those guys. I really
Yeah.
I rooted for them. So that's it's not more about talent as just I like these guys and I wanted so bad to see them win. And they, I think they got to the AFC championship one year maybe, but that was about as far as they went. And
They had some good teams.
it had,
I don't think
well,
they
and
ever
the only
made it
other
to
thing,
the AFC championship.
Antonio
I know they were in the
I think
playoffs
they
one
did,
year.
yeah.
They made a little bit of a run one year.
They made I think
Was it the divisional?
Last year they made it to the divisional. Yeah.
And they missed a
Yeah, I
field
don't
goal.
think
They
they
missed.
ever made
I remember they missed a field goal
Yeah.
late.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than Antonio Gates, they just didn't have the supporting cast, and maybe
But they had
Junior
Sean Miller
Seau,
there at
Junior
times.
Seau,
They had,
I guess.
Vincent Jackson, I think, was the receiver.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was
Yeah.
good.
Good call.
Yeah,
Antonio Gates.
Tomlinson, Gates. they had enough talent to.
I know. I just wanted them to win.
make
I wanted them to
Super
win
Bowl,
so bad.
Yeah. No, I agree, man.
I like
agree.
Phillip Rivers. That guy is
Yeah.
funny. He's got some moxie. He's got like
Yeah.
10 kids. So
Think he had a kid for every year
Yeah.
he missed the playoffs.
yeah. So those are my 5 and 4.
My 5. Bierman did say that we can do one hometown guy. So
Yeah,
I'm just
you
going to
can.
get mine out of the way early. Mine is Ken Griffey Jr. Arguably, probably not even arguably, the greatest Seattle athlete of all time. What can you say about Jr.? He literally put a franchise on the map nationwide when he got rolling with the M's in the late 80s. One of the greatest center fielders of all time, arguably the greatest player of his generation. Obviously spent time with Cincinnati in Bierman's neck of the woods as well, but just, had injury problems, still put up incredible career numbers. I just would have loved to see Junior compete in a World Series and win a title. He was my number 5. Number 4, I threw kind of a random one on there, but a guy that I always had a lot of respect for. Didn't get a chance to watch him a ton, but Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn, just one of the purest contact hitters in baseball history, right? And I think it feels like a lost art to me that of the hitters like a Wade Boggs, right, or a Tony Gwynn. And I just want to throw a couple stats at you guys that I just thought were so fascinating about Tony Gwynn. Looking at him, 8 times NL batting title, 7 times Silver Slugger, 15 All-Star appearances. I didn't realize this, but he went 1-8 in the World Series. So he was there and had a chance, but
so I know he
not.
was there against the Tigers in '84. What was the other?
I don't know.
Oh, he went 1 for 8 hitting. Is that what you're saying?
No. I was going to get to that.
In games. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1 win, 8 losses. Yeah.
So
in 2 World Series.
So they made 2 World Series. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't check the opponent.
Yeah, I know the Tigers
played the Tigers.
Yeah, but I don't remember. Okay. Yeah.
In those 9 games, he hit 371. So the dude showed up and just delivered as he always does.
Yeah.
Here's the last.
Yeah.
So the last thing I'll say about Gwynn, this just still blows me away every single time I hear this reference. He averaged 29 Ks per 162 games over the course of his 20-year career. He struck out 434 times total.
I always thought I see things come
years.
across feeds where it's like Ellie De La Cruz has as many strikeouts as Tony Gwynn did in his whole career. And you're just like, it's unbelievable. And Tony Gwynn,
impressive,
so
right?
I used to chew tobacco and I'm off the dip.
Yeah.
And it's, but
Good for you,
I think he passed because he had mouth cancer, which
yeah.
Every time I think of Tony Gwynn, I'm like, oh, got to get off that dip.
Well, and just not like as an athlete, as a like a specimen, right?
Yeah.
You would have never thought Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest athletes to ever play
quietest
baseball.
voice too, is like Tony Gwynn. He's just a
So
real quiet,
voice, yeah.
mild-mannered
so classy,
guy.
though.
Yeah, classy. Just
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah,
Great
Pat,
pick.
you mentioned my PSA, which is don't chew. For all you guys I love out there that do. So anyway, yeah, rest in peace, Tony. It's been 11 years since he died, you guys. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
11 years. Yeah.
Sad.
Eric, what do you got for 5 and 4?
Yeah, so real quick, I did use a little special criteria like I do sometimes on my top five. So there were so many great players that could have made this list, guys. To narrow it down a little more, to make my list, not only could you have not won a championship, but you also could have never played for one, meaning you've never even made the final championship game or series of your sport. So like Ted Williams wouldn't have been eligible for mine, Pat, because he made a World Series. So also, I'm going to just tell you, I had a 5A and a 5B and a 4A and a 4B because I couldn't leave these guys off, but I'm not going to talk about them at all. Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Sanders. Two of the best. We've talked about them a million times. They had to be on my list, but I'm not going to actually make them a formal part of my list. So my number 5, you mentioned him, LaDainian. The guy, he just centerpiece of the Chargers offense, arguably the most dominant offensive player in football during his prime. 7th all-time in rushing yards, with 13,684, 145 rushing touchdowns, second all time, 162 total touchdowns, third all time. He was the MVP in 06, 5-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Fame inductee in 2017. He just played on teams that just could never get over the hump with the Chargers. They were stacked some years, but just could never make a Super Bowl. He played in 7 playoff games. In 5 of them, he either had 100 or more total yards, or he scored a touchdown. And then number 4, going with another baseball player, reminds me a little bit of Tony Gwynn, actually. This guy played a lot in your neck of the woods, Pat. I'm going with Rod Carew, maybe the purest hitter ever. Definitely top 5. I never had a World Series appearance.
Played forever. He played forever.
He played
the
forever.
Angels,
So, yeah.
Twins.
He played for 18 years, and he was an all-star 18 times. I mean, can't do any better than that. He had a 328 career batting average. That's pretty good. 7 batting titles. He was the 1977 American League MVP, and he was a Hall of Fame inductee in 1991. He hit 300 or better in 15 seasons. And by the way, in 1977, the year that he won MVP, he was close to 400. He had 388. I mean, that's pretty freaking good. You don't see that anymore. Although Aaron Judge, I don't know if you guys saw it. There's
He's on
tops
fire.
that you can bet to be above 400 at the end. I mean, it's sort of like 1,500, I think, but they're still pretty. He's got a chance. Yeah. All right, what do you got, Pat, for 3 and 2, buddy?
Well, my criteria is they had to have dated a woman whose name starts with the letter B. They have to be born in April. So those are just a couple of criteria. No,
I can't wait to hear your 3 now.
Allen Iverson. I went with Allen Iverson. We talking about practice? Well, maybe if you practice harder, you might have beaten the Lakers. So I only hate because my wife has a crush on 2 sports stars, and it was Peyton Manning and Allen Iverson. So those are her 2. So Allen Iverson.
Could those guys literally be any different?
I know.
Yeah.
She's got some interesting tastes. I mean, look.
That's
I'm
a perfect mix.
I'm like a good mix between
true.
Peyton and Allen Iverson. I get it. I get it now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Talk about practice.
Allen is also Irish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, he went to the finals once, lost to the Lakers. But man, I remember watching him once at the Target Center at a Timberwolves game, and we had nosebleed seats. I mean, I must have been like 5 rows from the top, and you're looking down, and this guy is so fast, and you can see him just weaving in and out, and he's just so quick. He's good.
Yeah.
He's such a fun player to watch, and would have liked to have seen him win one. And then number 2, I had Ken Griffey Jr., aka Junior. He had the sweetest swing of all time. And I love lefty swings. There's just something about it. I don't know why. He unfortunately played in 2 terrible cities that have no hope of ever winning anything.
Hey.
So, but yeah.
At least since he's won World Series. I mean, we'll give him that.
That's true.
And I mean, for me, growing up, I was collecting baseball cards, and the Upper Deck Ken Griffey, which they've made millions of. I mean, you can go get one for like $1. down the street. But it was always the chase. I remember the chase for the Ken Griffey
Oh,
card.
that was oh yeah, that was
They
a famous card.
they mass
Yeah.
produced that card like nothing. I mean, there's so many of them out there, but it was for me at the time, like I was like, oh, Ken Griffey he was the big deal. And the swing, the sweet left-handed swing was so cool. And his follow through and like the way you just leave the bat there was the coolest thing in the world. But so
Pretty good.
Ken Griffey. What about
Nice.
you,
Yeah, well,
Mr. Bill?
we had number threes were identical. So I had Allen Iverson as my number three. I loved his game. The only things I would add to what Pat said, because I like Pat, saw him in person and just could not believe how quick he was in person. And I felt like he really revolutionized the NBA in a way of like this really small scoring guard. Typically I would think before Allen, and I'm sure there's guys I'm forgetting, but those smaller guys were like
Spud
the
Webb.
John Stockton. Yeah, or like they're the point guards, right?
Yeah.
They're passing, they're doing the distribution of the ball. Allen Iverson could get a shot whenever he wanted. I mean, that crossover was so lethal and just the competitor, the will to win. Sure, I mean, he might have had some things off the court that people didn't love, but I always appreciated his competitiveness. And I mean, if he had a better team surrounding him, he might have won one. So he was my number three. My number two is actually a local tie, but I think this doesn't qualify in the homerism hometown thing. And it's Elgin Baylor. And if I asked you guys where Elgin Baylor went to college, could you tell me?
Baylor.
That would be a great guess, but no. I'm guessing you've never heard of this college, even though you know the city that it's based in.
Who knows?
No
Both
idea.
of us?
Seattle
Houston
University.
Baptist. Seattle University.
Seattle University. Yeah. And
Never would have guessed
the
that.
interesting tidbit and why I threw Elgin in here is a little bit of a friend promotion plug here, but one of my best friends in the world, Lucas Davis, grew up with Lucas. His dad, Glenn, played hoops at Roosevelt High School, set all sorts of scoring records at Roosevelt, and then went to Seattle University and would hold all of the scoring records at Seattle University as well, except that there happened to be this guy that was just a little bit older than him named Elgin Baylor that played there. And Elgin still holds all the scoring records at Seattle University. And, so I always had a little bit of a soft spot. Obviously, he played well before my time. But the fact that he played at Seattle U, the fact that there was this tie with Glenn and then the records, I always thought
And
was
the
kind of
Seattle
cool. And
the
what I didn't-
Seattle U coach is still telling recruits that. He's still pulling the Elgin
that he
Baylor
played
card.
there.
Like, yeah,
That's-
Elgin Baylor played there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know it.
I'm surprised it's not called Baylor Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It should be probably. But anyway, last thing I'll say about Elgin, because I did a little research on him. I didn't know these things off the top, but he competed in 8 finals and never won, which I
Oh
thought,
my gosh.
wow. I mean, how many
That's
is that the most ever? I mean,
that's
it could be in the running,
that's yeah.
right? So I thought that was a little
Yeah.
fascinating. He was the number one pick in 1958, Rookie of the Year, 11-time All-Star, 10-time first team All-NBA. A legend. So Elgin's my number 2.
Was that like the
Is he still
Celtics?
alive?
Was the Celtics winning it all those
Elgin's
years?
still alive, yeah.
Was it because of the Celtics,
awesome.
or why did he lose?
It must have been the
Yeah.
Celtics, yeah, because he was
yeah,
on
I mean,
the
in the-
Lakers,
Yeah.
and they got there a bunch. But
Wow. That's a good one. Yeah. He was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
what do you got for your 3 and 2
All
there, Barry?
right, so guys, I'm going with. Let's see if you know your nicknames. I'm going with the Human Highlight film. Do you know who I'm
The
talking about?
Human Highlight Reel or the Human Highlight Film?
Yeah, I was gonna say Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, whatever. Real film,
Okay.
whatever. Come on, guys, go with me. Go with me.
Elgin died in 21 as well. Sorry,
Oh,
I
you
was wrong
did?
about
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he died in
Yeah,
2020.
going with Neek. The guy, I love this guy. His problem was timing. That was the problem. He played against Bird, Magic, Isaiah, and then of course Jordan, and he had some good teams. I mean, there were some good Hawks teams, but just could never break through, and he never made a finals, and obviously never won one. But almost 27,000 career points, top 15 all time when he retired. He was a 9-time All-Star. He was the scoring champion in '86, All NBA selection 7 times, Hall of Fame in '06. He averaged 25 points per game over a 15 season span. He was a this matters to us boys who remember this, and it was a big deal, but he was a 2-time slam
NBA
dunk
dunk champ. Yeah, the
that
slam dunk.
mattered.
Yeah.
That mattered back
Yeah.
then.
Mhm.
So
Highlights, man. Jumping through the roof.
That's right.
He was good. He just timing was bad for him. So
Behrman, can you, and for Pat too, can you guys name one other good player that he played with?
didn't he play with Doc? Was Doc ever on his Doc Rivers?
Could have been, but I mean, was Doc Rivers awesome? I mean, good NBA
No,
player.
it's a good question.
Spud
It's a good
Webb.
question.
Spud Webb. I was thinking
Spud Webb, yeah.
the guy with short T-Rex arms, Willis. He played. Was that guy around, or
he
was
did
he?
play with Willis. He did.
Yeah.
Kevin Willis.
Yeah.
Kevin Willis.
Yeah. But not. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He kind of was just victim too of Atlanta never bringing any other talent in around him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlanta's never. I mean, I know they
Yeah.
won one, but I mean, like
I'm
Trae
sure
Young,
we're missing guys too. I'm sure.
Yeah, but not. Yeah, I mean, they never seem
Lenny
to be able to
Wilkins coaching him too for a while. I mean, you had a good coach.
I don't know if Lenny was coaching them back. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah. And then my number 2, if you're building a list of the most intimidating, dominant, and just downright feared players in NFL history, Dick Butkus better be on that list. And that is who I'm going with for my number 2. 9 seasons, all with the Bears, 8 Pro Bowls, 5 first-team All-Pros, 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He had 27 career forced fumbles and 22 interceptions in a 9-year career as a linebacker.
Yeah, wow.
That just seems like a lot to me.
Cool stat.
He's on every, NFL all-anniversary team, 60s, 70s, all-decade teams. He never played in a single playoff game. The Bears were so freaking bad. The team record during his career was 48-74-4. He was a first ballot Hall of Famer. In 1969, he was the only player on a 1-13 team ever to be named to the first team All-Pro team. He 1-13, and they're like, "You're freaking awesome."
He was on what sitcom was he on?
So
Wasn't he on a sitcom?
Yeah, he's an actor.
No, he absolutely was on a sitcom.
What was it?
Well,
Charles in Charge or something?
Light, tastes great, less filling commercials.
Oh yeah,
which I loved back then. But
he was on some sitcom.
Was it?
No, that was Alex Karras.
Yeah,
Alex Karras. Yeah, the lineman. That's right. Alex Papadopoulos.
But yes,
George Papadopoulos, wasn't it?
Was on a sitcom.
Yeah.
George Papadopoulos.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Dude, that is good.
A lot of useless knowledge up here. A lot of useless knowledge up here.
George Papadopoulos.
I guess on a Disney, like a bunch of Disney shows.
He was on something.
I can't find. I'm not seeing it here, but.
Yeah, we'll get. Hey, we have not put our CRO to work in a while.
There you go.
So
come on,
Mackenzie,
return of the Mac.
Earn your keep here. Chief Research Officer, tell us what sitcom Dick Butkus was on. All right, Pat, what's your number 1?
All right, well, I'll go with my hometown, Joe Mauer, homegrown, number 1 overall pick, and the second greatest athlete to ever attend Cretin-Derham Hall High School. He was supposed to get us back to glory, and although he did win MVP and get us to the playoffs, we could never get past the Yankees, and the build up and the hype was big, but they just never pulled it off. So I'm gonna go with.
Could they
Joe
win a playoff game with him?
Won. Yeah, they won games. They won games, but they had won a series or two back then. But
series, okay.
Yeah, but it was always the Yankees. Yeah, the Yankees or the Oakland Athletics got us one year, and so it's been.
Didn't they lose some insane amount of games in a row though, Pat? Was it like
a bunch of series
in a row or something?
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh man!
But that was even after Mauer retired. I mean, we were still that streak continued even after Mauer retired. But that was the number one overall pick.
I am shocked you didn't have When you said hometown, I thought you were going somewhere else, dude.
Dave
I'm
Winfield.
shocked you didn't go with Randy.
Randy Moss. No, I saw that, but I knew we could only pick one from our
Wait, he didn't
hometown.
win?
Randy Moss never
No,
won
he never
one.
won
No,
one.
because
Even
when he was on
with
the
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 Patriots?
Patriots, they lost to the Giants.
That was the team that lost. That was the
That was
the best
the
team
helmet
ever.
catch?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
yeah. He
Okay.
never won.
I know. I
I would have
wanted to. I
bet
wanted to
anything
go
that he
Randy
won one.
Moss, but I
And
didn't want to go two
I
hometown
literally-
connections.
But you want no? I get it. No, Joe Mauer.
And Mauer
is
was
a
the more
great one
disappointing.
because
The more disappointing.
yeah,
Overall disappointment because the hype was and the hopes and expectations were so high.
yeah. I love it, dude. No, Mauer's a great pick. Great pick.
Man, I cannot believe that Randy Moss thing. I would have bet anything. That's crazy. Yeah, I love that Maurer one. That's a good one, Pat. My number one is infamous, famous for never winning a championship. It's Charles Barkley, and I love Charles even when he was on the Suns and he got 7,000 calls a game against the Sonics for whatever reason. I hated Kevin Johnson. I hated Dan Marley. I hated everything about the Phoenix Suns. I didn't really care about Charles when he was with Philly. I don't know. Sorry, Mike Paston. But Charles to me became even more beloved after he left playing. And I think that guy is so good on the NBA Tonight Show. I love how he's always just been able to say his mind. Don't agree with him all the time, but I just love him as a personality. And I think as he grew beyond his career, I wish that he had won one even more. For whatever reason, I can't think of a single other athlete that's the case.
Yeah.
So Charles was my number one. I would have loved for him just to be able to fire back at Shaq, about like, you can't hold this above me, like Shaq always does, Kenny Smith always does. So anyway, Charles is my number one, and I hope they keep doing that show for a long time. It's such a entertaining show.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, guys. I'm going with, in my opinion, the greatest tight end in the history of the
Tony
NFL.
Gonzalez.
Before Kelsey, before Gronk, before Kittle, there was Tony G, baby. Tony Gonzalez, the greatest Chiefs, the greatest tight end to ever play the game, and the greatest Chiefs tight end to ever play the game, which makes me happy that Kelsey can't say that because I fucking hate that guy. Anyway,
And the
right.
best
Let's
best
get into
intro in Monday Night Football where he goes, "I'm Tony Gonzalez." Like the I'm Ron Burgundy.
Oh, I
he
didn't
goes,
see. I
he
didn't
goes,
see that.
Dude, I
I'm
know exactly what
Tony
you're talking
Gonzalez.
about.
Yeah.
I mean, part of my thing too is just I like guys. I mean, we all do. Classy, not a lot of off the field stuff. I know, Iverson's had his stuff and stuff, but like, I don't know. Gonzalez, I've just always liked the guy, and I didn't know this. 1,325 career receptions, third most receptions in the NFL history, behind only Jerry Rice and Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, wow, that's pretty freaking good. More than 15,000 receiving yards, more than 110 touchdowns, 14 Pro Bowls, most ever by a tight end. Hall of Fame inductee back in 2019. He played Favre, Iron Man, all of that. Tony Gonzalez as a tight end, so basically on the line every freaking snap. He played 17 seasons. He missed 2 games.
Wow, that is a crazy stat.
Yeah. So I love the guy.
Stud.
He played on a lot of bad teams. I would love if this guy had Pat Mahomes, who I can't see him, but if he had that guy slinging the ball to him, man, he would have loved it. But closest he ever got was in 2012 NFC Championship. He was with the Falcons at that time, and they lost to the 49ers. And, of course, he played great in that game. He had 8 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. But, yeah, Tony G, man. Love the guy.
That's a good one. Yeah, really good one.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was a nice homage to some of the greatest to ever play, but to never win it all. Before we wrap things up, Bill, what do we have from a pool side of things that we want to share?
Well, I got a question to pose for you guys if you're willing to accept.
Bring it.
So Eric mentioned, by the way, shout out to the Six Pack. I love reading that thing every week. It's a great article series. If you guys have not checked it out, go do it. It's light, it's quick, it's 6 different things. It's sports, it's non-sports.
Thank you.
So Eric, little shout out. Yeah, really, really enjoy reading that every week. Kudos. And Eric he mentioned it earlier. He brought up the Indy 500, and we did an Indy 500 Calcutta this week
Yeah, how
for
did
the
we
race.
do on that? Yeah.
It actually got some pretty good traction. There turns out there's a lot of racing fans out there. We haven't really catered to that audience much through the years, but we'll try to hit big races and do some other things
I love
along
it.
the way.
I love it.
Yeah. We've done some horse racing stuff now. We'll probably have the Belmont coming up, the third leg of the Triple Crown, because we've done the first two. The Derby, we obviously had Sandman, which was fun, and then
does the
Preakness.
Belmont have more horses than the Preakness? And Preakness only had. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. That'll be
typically
nice.
The Preakness is always the smallest.
Yeah.
Kind of it packed in the middle there. And I haven't seen Belmont.
Is Sandman running in the Belmont?
I believe. I haven't heard to see not, but I would think that it would.
Because he finished third at the Preakness, right? Is that right? Did he finish third or fourth? I think he finished third.
Actually, I don't remember the order.
I think he finished third at the Preakness.
Was it third? That sounds right.
I think so.
That does sound right. Yeah. But here's my question. And this is not just Indy 500 really. This is probably for any race where there are final things happening as horses cross a line or a car crosses the finish line. And then you may end up hearing something about one of the drivers may have done something that was deemed illegal, or maybe one of the teams has done something illegal with their car.
Or a horse is scratched. Yeah.
Horse is scratched or something of that sort, right? Or maybe the horse gets found to have some illegal substance in its system. And now all of a sudden they're saying, well, wait a second, we're going to remove the result that was final as of the day of the race. Okay, so the Indy 500 actually had a guy, Marcus Ericsson, finish second this year and was then deemed to have an illegal something aerodynamic, something with the car in post-race inspection. They actually moved Marcus down to 32nd place or 31st place or somewhere down there. Now, in the pool, I awarded second place to Marcus Ericsson because he finished second. I want your guys' honest opinions of how that should be handled.
How many hours was it?
More than a day.
Okay.
Calendar day. I don't know about 24 hours, but it was the next calendar day.
Yeah, I think Ericsson should have been awarded second place, because it's like, what is the time frame? Like, if you paid out Michigan winning the national championship and then
Reggie Bush winning the Heisman,
Reggie Bush winning the Heisman, like all that. So there's got to be.
You're saying there's like a statute of limitations.
Yeah,
I
think there's a statute
calendar.
Yeah,
day.
I mean, I think that. Yes, I do.
End of day.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
Pat, you agree?
End of day.
Okay.
If it's not.
All right. Well, that's the way that I handled it, and I just was curious to hear your guys' takes on whether you thought I handled it correctly.
Did you get any feedback from people?
I got a little feedback here or there from some people, because there were some people that it might have affected something. But anyway, I wanted to pose that as
it's a great question. That's a tough one, dude. Yeah, people don't realize. There is a lot. It is not as simple as you just saying, hey, we're going to run the pool and then pay out all the winners. There are a lot of decisions you have to make like that, dude. I mean, Bill, you've had, over the years, you've had many questionable calls like that you've had to make, and it's never easy. It's never black and white. And so I think you made the right. And I honestly believe, because we've known each other a long time, I know most of the decisions you've made. I believe you've made the right one every single time. That one, definitely, with the Indy 500, I would have made the exact same.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks for the kind words. I think that what you have to do in the situation is take the names of the players in the pool that might be attached to Marcus winning money or to the next person that moves up. You just have to take that out and try to make the most fair decision that you can.
The objective decision.
Yeah. I think people supported what I did, and it was everyone kind of is on the same page. But I was just curious, and it's interesting. I do think that there's an opportunity maybe for us to explore some sort of like pool related discussions around, whether it's types of pools or formats, but also things that happen, right? Like there's there's these crazy stories through the years of things that have affected or adjusted the final standings. And this was just another one to add to the lore of, wait a
Yeah.
second, this guy that you've given second place money to is now finished 31st.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was interesting. I
It's a great
appreciate
one.
the,
No, that's
yeah,
an interesting one, man.
yeah. We lost Pat
Awesome.
too. I hopefully
Yeah,
he's
Pat.
okay.
Yeah, Pat's.
I thought I heard snoring, but he may have fallen asleep.
All right. Well, CMA Nation, it has been another great show. Bill, Pat, fantastic job as always. Would love to keep chatting with you both, but sadly, it is time to exit. Sandman Sports listeners, be sure to check us out. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us, spread the word. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Sandman Sports, and our website, entertainmentsports.com. Sandman Nation, have a freaking awesome weekend. Peace out. Take care.
Good luck, everybody.